guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Emma and today we're going to be talking about moving back home in my 20s. I know it's pretty common to move back home in your 20s, like especially after college, but sometimes it's kind of a hard decision to make, especially if you don't have the most comfortable family dynamic situation. It can be a little stressful sometimes living with family, and it can take a toll on your mental health. So first I want to talk about why I decided to move back in with my family. Last year in 2021, I was working as an aide in a physical therapy clinic. I was shadowing at the hospital for inpatient hours, and I was also taking accelerated science classes. I was in a time crunch and needed to get these courses done by the end of the year in order to apply for the 2021 cycle. Let me tell you, accelerated courses are no joke. You're trying to cram a whole semester worth of information into 1 month. You know, these courses required a full-time effort in studying, watching lectures, and then on the weekends you have labs. So basically the weekend is just blocked off for labs, and then Mondays we have exams. So you don't really have much time to study for the exams on the weekends, and you have to get all that studying during the weekdays or Monday before the exam. Not to mention, the homework takes freaking forever. Oh my gosh, I am traumatized. I literally had dreams of those stupid red boxes around the answer because I would get it wrong. I've come to find that the only reason I got it wrong was because I accidentally put a space next to the number. Even though the number was there, let's say the number is 25, but I accidentally put 25 space, it would say it's wrong. And so I redo the whole problem, try to do it all over again, and then I still get 25, and I'm like, okay, so I put 25, and then it says it's right. And then I'm like, what, wow, how? And so I go back and I realize it's because there's a damn space. Clearly I feel strongly about this. So my job as an aide, I know that there are a lot more physically exhausting jobs out there, but you basically like just running back and forth, demonstrating exercises, cleaning equipment. You kind of do have to lift equipment here and there. I basically don't really get time to sit, and then in the mornings, you know, I'm shadowing at the hospital, so I really don't have any time to sit. And one time I almost fell asleep during rounds, which was so embarrassing, and I'm literally shaking just thinking about it because oh my god. It's so embarrassing. Like, there's professionals around me, and you know, they're talking about their patients, and I'm over here falling asleep like a freaking child that I am. Anyways, let's move on. But basically it just came to a point where I was like, okay, I need to sacrifice like something because I'm not okay. All that hard work, studying, racking up hours at the hospital, and I get a C. Yeah. These courses are also not cheap. I just basically felt like a failure. I was also scared to tell my mom because she helped me pay for these courses, and that was also not an easy thing for me to do, to ask her for help. It was just taking a toll on my mental and physical health. And not to mention, I was also struggling financially, so I was scared to ask for more time off or more days off in the office because then I wouldn't be able to make friends. For years I've been going back and forth about quitting my job and moving to Vegas with my family, but I kind of just put that option in the back because it was never really anything I truly wanted to do. I mean, every family has their struggles, but sometimes it helps when your family doesn't live with each other. Like, you get along better when you're not around each other all the time, you know? And that's kind of how my family is. We get along the most when we don't have to see each other all the time. But basically I was just reaching like a really low point in my health altogether, and I just had to basically like talk to myself and, you know, just say, okay, quit your job, you need to move back home, and then you don't have to worry about rent or if you're gonna eat good food. And when I say good food, I mean like more than just rice and ketchup, because that's basically what I'd be eating. So then in January I decided to pack everything up and move to Vegas, and here we are. If the lighting is changing, it's because it's so gloomy now, and I don't know what happened to the sun. It was there and now it's gone. So I'm gonna try to do this quick. So the first thing that I found out, or the first thing that I experienced moving here, is the culture and environmental shock. My family is originally from Southern California. There was a time where I did live in Northern California in my childhood, but then most of my life has been in SoCal. When my mom bought the house here in Vegas, I was still in school, so I decided to just move in with some college friends instead of moving up here with her. I mean, I would visit a lot, but I've never stayed here longer than 2 weeks. I know every city has its own dynamic and community, but I just like never lived in a friendly suburban area before. I grew up in a condo, so I mean, like I knew people in my complex, but never like driving down the street, walking my dog, and someone stops their car to say hi to me. Like, that's new to me. Them knowing me by name, that's new to me. I feel like other people are gonna say that's normal, but to me, it feels like Pleasantville. So the area that I live in now, it's kind of a developing area. There weren't that many supermarkets or like common shopping stores here, like Costco, Home Goods. At least when my mom first bought the house out here. Now there's like a Costco, which is like 6 to 7 minutes from here, and then a Target, Home Goods. That's kind of like 15-ish minutes from here. But compared to living in SoCal, like these things are usually like down the street from me, so that's kind of different. Also, there aren't that many Asian supermarkets. So there is a Seafood City and Jollibee kind of in the Target area, which is nice. But you do have to drive a little further out to get to like a 99 Ranch. They did, oh my gosh, they did open, I think this is the only Daiso in Nevada, but the first ever Daiso in like this area. And I'm pretty sure it is the only one in Nevada. I looked it up. And that is like 30 minutes away from here, like 30 to 45. Like that is basically the South Bay to LA, no traffic. So next I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of moving in with your family. One pro is home cooked meals. My grandma loves to cook. So she cooks pretty much like every day and it's amazing. When I was on my own, the only time I would eat like good Filipino food is if I bought it, because I would never have time to actually make it myself. Also, it's pretty involved. I just like never really had time either for just like cooking food that has a lot of preparation, and I feel like Filipino food, there's like a lot of chopping involved and I don't have the time to do that, or at least I didn't at the time. So the con is feeling bad when I don't eat the food. I don't want to offend, I'm gonna like talk slowly because they're here and I don't want them to hear me because I don't really feel bad. I don't want to offend them, and in our culture, if someone cooks you food, you eat it. And if you don't eat it, you know, that can be considered rude, but like I can only eat, girl, guy, whoever's listening, I can only eat sinigang, adobo, and tinola so many times in a month. Also, they think I'm like too American and that is why I don't want to eat their food. Like, oh, she doesn't like it because she's American. But like, yes, I'm born and raised here in America, but I grew up eating Filipino food and I love Filipino food and I love our culture. But I like diversity. I like eating different types of food. I like my buttered noodles. Sometimes I want to make kimchi fried rice. You know what I mean? Like, I like diversity in my food. I can't always be eating Filipino food like every day. My grandparents are kind of old school, so they're very like straightforward thinking in that sense. I mean, it's okay. Pro is the comfort of feeling at home, which is an amazing thing. I mean, it's a lot different from sharing your space with like strangers or having roommates. And not that I like had complete strangers as roommates, don't get me wrong, but I usually shared an apartment with a really good friend, but then the other roommates were usually their friends. So I mean, I only like would briefly meet them prior to living with them. I also grew up not really having my own space, so I kind of had this like shared space mentality where, you know, like this isn't my home kind of way of thinking. I never really felt 100% comfortable unless it's actually my own stuff and my own space. And I know that's like something I need to work on personally, like it has nothing to do with other people. I realized I don't feel comfortable being in other people's space. And I didn't even realize this until I moved here to Las Vegas. When I was living in LA, we also like all chipped in to buy the furniture and everything. And so I felt a little more comfortable using the furniture because it was like my contribution also. So technically I share ownership to said piece of furniture versus, you know, living with my best friend. I mean, I was so grateful because I didn't have to spend money and all that stuff, but I mean, it was her furniture, and so yes, I felt comfortable using it enough because she is my best friend and I know she wouldn't mind me sitting on the couch or whatever. Like, that was the intention for it in the first place. But I think I was very conscious that it wasn't mine, and so yes, I would sit on the couch, watch TV, but then if I ever felt like I needed to take a nap, I would just go upstairs into my own bed. It's raining right now. Oh my god. Con. Family is aware of everything I do at any given time of the day. I know a lot of people can relate to this, but sometimes I'll be walking up the stairs or doing my own thing and I can hear them whispering like, oh my god, she's going up the stairs. Is she even studying? Like, what is she doing? Obviously not like that, but you know what I mean. And it's probably just out of curiosity, I understand, but it does feel a little judgy sometimes. And especially if it gets relayed to other family members, I'm like, excuse me, and it can be a little problematic. So another one is when I leave the house, I'll hear them say, where is she going? She went to Target again. Is she spending money? I thought she didn't have money. And like, maybe it would be fine. Like, I don't care if they talk about these things, but it's the fact that I can hear it. I think that's the issue here, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, leave me alone. Pro, getting to spend more time with my dad. One of the major reasons why I decided to move to Las Vegas, and I was okay with moving to Las Vegas, is being able to get to spend more time with my dad. He is on the older side. I mean, he's like not an elderly or anything, but you know, he's pushing, he's getting there. So I do get anxious sometimes missing out on moments with him, and especially with the pandemic, you know, there were months where I didn't come here, there were holidays that I had missed, and so that really made me a little nervous. So it's really cool that I get to spend more time with him. The con, which is like not really a con, it's kind of just like a little bit of an inconvenience, is helping with tech things. Growing up, I don't know how this happened, but I like became the family secretary. I basically would type up documents, emails, anything Word document related. My parents aren't really tech savvy, so I think that's why, you know. I mean, my dad is trying to learn, but sometimes those government websites are really confusing. Like, even I get confused. But I'll be like studying or doing work in my room, and then I'll just hear a knock. And they'll be like, hey, sorry, I don't want to bother you, but do you think you could type this up for me really quick? And it does only take like 10 minutes and it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes you're like in the zone, you know what I mean, of like your workflow or like the essay you're writing, and then, you know, you type up that document or troubleshooting whatever problem it was. Like, my brain gets tired after that because it's like, you know, if it's a problem, like you're trying to like fix it, your like brain is like working overtime or like. And so then, you know, you just kind of get out of that flow of what you were doing before, and it's kind of hard to get back into it. Pro, venting to someone who gets it. You know, again, like not every family is perfect. Sometimes you do have to like vent about another family member to someone who, you know, it's kind of nice when like they understand why you felt that way and can relate as well. The only con though is obviously getting sucked into a family drama for no reason. Like, it's okay to vent, but I mean, like, let's say if two family members are fighting, they're both venting to you separately. Like, different being on your own, I can answer the phone call, listen to them and hear them out, and then I can end the call and then go back doing what I was doing and be in my own peace. But being here at like the home base of it all, you know, you can't really escape it as easy as like hanging up and then going and doing what you were doing. But I do just have to like, you know, set some nice healthy boundaries, which I am still working on. And you know, whenever I do set said boundaries, I get hella anxiety, but you know, we're still working on it. It's a work in progress. pro, living in a real house. I have never lived in a house before in my life. I grew up in a condo, and ever since then I've just been like in apartments, so pretty tight quarters. I've only had my own room twice in my life, once when I was living in LA and here. So it is nice, you know, having like my own space and privacy. It's nice. The con though is whenever I am alone, it can get a little scary because I'm not used to living in a house with more than 2 rooms. I get scared when I'm alone, especially at night. Like I'll be closing the blinds downstairs and I just picture, you know, someone like staring in through the windows in the darkness like a freaking horror movie. So for this one, I'm gonna start with a con, and that's feeling lonely. Because I don't have friends who live out here, and I haven't really had the opportunity to make friends, so it does get a little lonely sometimes. But I'm also kind of going through a situation right now where I kind of just need to be on my own for a little bit and focus on myself. So the pro is learning how to do things on my own. I can be pretty independent, but I also just like doing things with friends. Like I like going on errands with a friend, or, you know, thrift shopping with someone. I mean, my dad will go with me to the post office sometimes, which is nice, but I mean, he gets lazy, you know, sometimes he doesn't want to leave the house, which is understandable. I have learned a lot about myself, especially because there are no distractions or things that I can keep myself busy with. So I've kind of just been forced to listen to my own thoughts and actually work on myself, which is kind of been a long time coming. I kind of don't really have that emotional capacity right now for taking on what I'm going through, on top of working on my relationships and friendships elsewhere, especially with those that I truly love. Like those are things that, you know, you want to put in effort for, and right now I just like can't, and it sucks, and I'm setting that boundary on myself. I'm a person who wants to always be there for people, and I kind of like don't allow myself to be there for myself, and it's just not healthy. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't really been easy. There are times where I get really down, and luckily I do have Corey, who is my boyfriend, and he, you know, I have him to like talk with, and at least there is someone I am talking to, and I have someone I can communicate things with if I need to. But I think all of this is just like, you know, the process of healing, and I'm in the works right now of like finding a good therapist. Hopefully I can hit the mark the first time and find one who's like really compatible with me, because I know that, you know, that's always not the case. But yeah, like, and it's great also because like right now I can just really focus on myself and working on getting into PT school, which is like the main reason why I'm out here in the first place. So yeah, that is all for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it or can relate to it in any way. Making the decision to move back with your family is not an easy one, especially again if you're not, you know, you don't have the most comfortable family dynamic or situation or living condition, but yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day or night, whatever time you're watching this. And I hope you guys are all taking care of yourselves and working on being the best versions of yourselves. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.